Do y'all think it was so dirty for Benjamin Netanyahu to call or say that he agreed to a ceasefire and then at the last minute changed his mind and didn't sign the agreement? Apparently, Benjamin Netanyahu delayed the ceasefire deal. He's saying that Hamas created some kind of crisis last minute and now his cabinet won't sign the deal. However, Hamas denies the allegations and basically saying that they haven't caused any type of crisis and they are still committed to the deal. However, after listening to Democracy Now!, Amy, she is saying that the deal starts Sunday, January the 19th, and that is when everything is supposed to take place. There's supposed to be 3 phases to it. So in this clip, Amy provides more detail as it pertains to phase 1 of the ceasefire.
The ceasefire agreement, which is expected to go into effect on Sunday, January 19th, includes in its 42-day first phase a cessation of attacks on Gaza, a surge of aid into the territory, the return of residents expelled from northern Gaza, and a limited prisoner exchange involving 33 hostages held by Hamas and some 1,000 Palestinian prisoners held by Israel. It also includes the withdrawal of Israeli forces from the most populated areas of Gaza and the opening of Gaza's Rafah crossing with Egypt. The terms of the deal are nearly identical to a ceasefire agreement that was advanced in May of last year by President Biden.
Now, in this clip is President Biden sharing information about the 3 phases of the ceasefire.
The deal is structured in 3 phases. Phase 1 will last 6 weeks. It includes a full and complete ceasefire, withdrawal of Israeli forces from all the populated areas of Gaza, and the release of a number of hostages held by Hamas, including women and elderly and the wounded. And I'm proud to say Americans will be part of that hostage release in phase 1 as well. And the Vice President and I cannot wait to welcome them home. In exchange, Israel released hundreds of Palestinian prisoners. And during phase 1, the Palestinians can also return to their neighborhoods in all the areas of Gaza. And the surge of humanitarian assistance into Gaza will begin. And the innocent people can have greater access to these vital supplies. You know, during the next 6 weeks, Israel will negotiate the necessary arrangements to get phase 2, which is a permanent end of the war. Let me say it again, a permanent end of the war. There are a number of details to negotiate to move from phase 1 to phase 2, but the plan says if negotiations take longer than 6 weeks, the ceasefire will continue as long as the negotiations continue. I've spoken to the Emir of Kuwait and the President of Egypt, and we have pledged to make sure the negotiations will keep moving forward for as long as it takes. Then, when phase 2 begins, there will be an exchange for release of the remaining living hostages, including male soldiers, and all remaining Israeli forces will be withdrawn from Gaza, and the temporary ceasefire will become permanent. And finally, phase 3, any final remains of hostages who have been killed will be returned to their families, and a major reconstruction plan for Gaza will begin. This is the ceasefire agreement I introduced last spring. Today, Hamas and Israel have agreed to that ceasefire agreement and the whole ending the war.
How messed up is that, though, to have somebody's hopes all extra high, thinking that the war is over, it's done with, and boom, it's not. 70 more people are martyred. 70. And it's supposed to be a ceasefire. Can America trust Israel? Is he going to turn on us? And I've said this before because of how much power we have given him and how many weapons we've sent. And they ain't no telling what they over there doing because, you know, they're our allies, so they pretty much can get away with anything. Should we just wait until Sunday to see what's going on? Do you guys think that President Joe Biden will hold Benjamin Netanyahu responsible or accountable for killing about 70 more people after the ceasefire was supposed to have taken place? I hope you guys are starting to get into politics, starting to understand politics, understanding how it affects you, how it affects our world, our money, our taxes, why some people are, financially oppressed, why some people are oppressed. And this is important. And I honestly know, and I'm hoping that this allows you all to see that when we come together as a people, we can make things happen. We can bring change. It's just that we all have to come together under one consensus. Believe it or not, it doesn't seem like it, but we are in charge. We, the people, are in charge of the government. We elected them to represent us. Have you ever heard of our government is a republic? We didn't elect them to go to Congress to make the decisions themselves. We elected them to go to Congress to represent us. So when we stand up, when we come together, when we stand up, we fight back, and we advocate for ourselves, we can get things done. However, we haven't been able to get everything done because they've been splitting us up. I am here to bring you guys both sides. As I've always said, there's good and bad on both sides. In the future, I am not only able to provide information, I'm able to do something, to make something shake as it pertains to making the government and making our world essentially a better place. And I'm not just saying that. That's not just a bunch of fluff. I truly, especially with my actual lived experiences from the standpoint of middle class down, I'm waiting to become wealthy. So from middle class down, I know that I have a ton that I can offer our government and recreating and modernizing different policies and procedures. And my goal is to inform you all so that you guys can be on top of it, and to provide you guys with as much information and insight as possible so that you can draw your own conclusions. One thing I realized, that as a Democrat, I was so brainwashed because all of my information I got from them. I never looked to anyone else for my information. And that is how they get you caught up in that web. I'm not saying Republican is 100% the way to go, but believe it or not, if you're Black, your values align more with the conservative Republican values than they do the Democrats. The thing that keeps us away from being Republican is the accusations of racism, in addition to them actually having racist people a part of their party. If we could work out that part, would be awesome. I just want to bring you guys both sides so that you won't be clouded with just one side, and it makes you so angry with the other side. And then when you see photos of both sides together, because that's what they do, then you feel betrayed, you feel let down. So that's why it's important to hear both sides so that you can be up to date, because sometimes the ones that you're rooting for ain't right. Sometimes they're not right, like it or not. And a lot of times, you know it in your heart that they're not right. You're just voting for them because as Black people, we stand against racism, and anything that has to do with racism, we shut it down. But we don't recognize that there's hidden racism that's going on. And that is one of the reasons why we have Black people have been so oppressed for so long. Well, some Black people. But anyway, that's a whole different story for a different day. I hope you guys like this video. Share your comments. What are your thoughts? Like, subscribe, share. And thank you for watching. Bye-bye for now.